The Mongkon in Muay Thai is a sacred headpiece worn by most Muay Thai boxers before fighting. They wear it in the ring while they do a ceremonial Kru Daeng before having the trainer take it off, and then they place it on the corner of the ring. Traditionally, the trainer will present a Mongkon to a fighter once they feel they're ready to compete or are about to compete in a professional Muay Thai bout. The Mongkons are made up of relatively basic material: rope, thread, sometimes some silk or other material is weaved in. For the purpose of this demonstration, Daeng is going to be purchasing some very basic materials from one of the local craft stores. On a visit to the local craft store, Kru Daeng is going to pick up basically 3 or 4 different colors of the same thickness of rope. He's then going to buy one rope that is much thicker, which will serve as the base to wrap around. He's going to purchase glue, scissors, the 3 thin ropes, and of course the thicker rope.
This make myself can do anything for Mongkol.
Daeng also has a little tool that he's made himself to help wrap and create the Mongkons a little bit easier. As you can see, Daeng doesn't need to stick to strict measurements. The first rope that he cuts at arm's length, roughly 1 meter. From that, he just repeats the process with the same length. So it's important they're all the same length, but the actual exact length is not so important. In this video, you can see Kru Daeng. The orange rope is going to be his base. So that's going to be what we create the Mongkon around. And you can see inside of that, he's stuffing the thicker, stronger rope to really give it a solid base. This is a really important process because if you don't have a strong enough base, the Mongkon itself will be quite loose and floppy. Once Daeng has the right length and everything is slipped inside, he'll burn off the ends just to make sure we don't get any fraying as he continues to build the Mongkon. Before going into the colors that are going to create the Mongkon, you'll see that Daeng makes sure the length of his base is long enough once he wraps it around, which it is in this case. So Daeng continues to then cut his colors. With the colors that are going to wrap around the Mongkon, we've got red, white, and blue, specifically to kind of mix in with the Thai flag and Thai colors. You can see the lengths, again, not extremely important, the exact length, but the fact that they're always the same. So he repeats one full length, then doubles it back over at the same length again, and repeat before he cuts. The white color is the first base color that Daeng's going to use. So once he's got his lengths of rope, he's going to trim them and then use his little tool. This tool basically just allows him to wrap around with the rope much easier, so that when he gets going, he can just keep flowing with it and it doesn't get tangled up or lost anywhere. Daeng then repeats the same process with the second color, which will be blue, cutting them at the right length. We get our base, which has had the stronger rope stuffed in the middle of it, and it has the right diameter we need. And we start at the very end, where Daeng gets the first color being white and ties it off at one end. With all 3 colors in hand, the red, white, and the blue, Daeng ties off in a simple knot at the end of our base. The easiest way to start weaving the base rope is with a good preparation. Here you'll see Daeng's going to tie one end around his waist and set up the other end to be jammed or stopped on something. Basically, it allows the base rope to have a strong tension, and Daeng can then start working on the weaving process without anything falling off the table or getting knotted up. You'll see that Daeng is weaving it in a certain way where he has the white in one hand and the other 2 colors, the red and the blue, in the other hand. The process of weaving is about going over the main rope with the white then coming back in, through, and under. If you watch this video a few times slowly, you'll see the exact technique that Daeng is using. With the preparation of the base rope being around one end and the other end being tied to his waist, Daeng is able to keep a nice strict tension and then fly through this much quicker than most people. Daeng learnt this skill roughly 20 years ago. He was taught in Bangkok exactly how to make the Mongkol and Prajeet and has just continued to master that art as he's grown. As Daeng's weaving his way through the creation of the Mongkol, you can see that the little tool that he's created allows him to hold all of the rope untangled in one hand as he weaves it back through the other two colors. Both sides of the main base Mongkol that Daeng is making create a certain pattern, and that allows the creator to actually choose which side they would prefer to use for their pattern. In this case, Daeng is going to use the underside. Now that Kru Daeng has got to the end with his weaving and stitching, he's going to hold the main base Mongkol and wrap it back on itself in a loop, giving him a better idea of how the pattern looks, what he needs to trim, and the size that he's created. Daeng is then going to hold the Mongkol in the shape, circulating back on itself, and tie off the ends with the remaining color left. Now that Daeng has got a better idea of the shape and size of his Mongkol, he's going to use the thicker rope that he had previously bought to create the adjuster. The adjuster allows the user of the Mongkol to change the size of the head, larger and shorter, sliding up and down and tightening as they go. As you can see for the adjuster, Daeng is going to use one small bit of rope, roughly 15 to 20 centimeters in length. And with the same material, he's going to have another length that is roughly 1.5 meters or 2 full arm lengths. Daeng is going to use the same pattern of weaving for the adjuster as he did with the other Mongkol, however, it's just with the same one single base color. As you'll notice, the weaving that Daeng has done for the adjuster allows either end to be tied together. So he's only put that weave in the middle part of the adjuster. Now he's wrapping it back on itself and tying it to the Mongkol. For the sake of appearance, Daeng is particularly meticulous with the adjuster and the ends of the Mongkol and the way he creates it. So he's basically going to get lengths of that rope and keep tying around and knotting into itself until it creates a nice tight knuckle. He's going to trim that then off and focus on how it looks. Once the adjuster is trimmed and tied off, Daeng will then get some glue and apply the glue to some parts of the adjuster, anywhere where it looks like it could fray. So you basically want to prevent as much fraying as you can so that the Mongkol can last many, many years. Now that we've created the Mongkol base and the Mongkol adjuster, one of the last steps to do for this Mongkol is to create the tail. Daeng cuts his lengths of red, white and blue, all to the same. Daeng cuts his lengths all to be the same, These can be trimmed later, but for now, Daeng's just making sure he's got everything unknotted and hanging at the right length. Daeng is then going to tie the red, white, and blue tail into the existing base colors that remain at the end. Once the tail is tied in and secured well, Daeng simply cuts the ends to make sure we get a nice, clean, neat look on the tail of the Mongkon. Daeng will again use the glue at the end of the Mongkon to clean up any of the possible fraying from the small trimming and cleaning that you've done to the Mongkon. The glue just basically acts as a water repellent and allows the frays to all stick together so it stays longer. Daeng has been making Mongkons for roughly 15 years now. It's not an easy art, but if you practice, it's quite a rewarding art. The Mongkon itself has always been tied in Thailand and in Muay Thai to religion, being Buddhism. So the Mongkon reflects a good luck from your gym, from your trainer. This good luck is often added to with amulets. These amulets are from local temples or from family members. And basically it just adds another touch of, one, an appearance to the Mongkon that looks very nice, and two, that extra good luck and well-wishing for your fights. The amulets are typically placed on the front of the Mongkon. As you can see, Daeng is placing this one on the front to hang down slightly. The way that they're placed is very uniquely different Mongkon to Mongkon. Some are placed attached into the main width, some are attached hanging down above, and some are even at the back end of the Mongkon. It's important to remember with the Mongkon that it is a sacred item, whether you believe in Buddhism or not. It's a sacred item to Muay Thai. The care for it should be taken. It should always be hung up head height or higher. When you're holding it in your hand, you shouldn't hold it down near your waist or groin. You should hook it up to your shoulder and walk around. Pre-fights, traveling and so on, it should always be kept above your head.